Please call the roll.
Bowman,
Here.
Stelling, Beer,
Here.
Brooks,
Here.
Martin,
Here.
Sherman, Dowling,
Here.
Winters.
Here. All right, we have a quorum. Item 4 on the agenda is discussion and action on the consent agenda. I'll start over. All of the following items which concern reports and items of a routine nature normally approved at City Council meetings will be approved by one vote of the Council. Any member of the Council desiring to discuss an item on the consent agenda may request that it be removed from the consent agenda and placed for discussion as the next item on the regular agenda. It will then be considered separately. The consent agenda consists of the consideration and action on the following items. Item A, approval of the minutes for the special meeting held May 15th, 2021. Item B, approval of the minutes for the regular meeting held August 16th, 2021. And item C, approval of claims in the amount of $261,120.77 and payroll expenses of $167,674.11. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make a motion we approve the consent agenda.
I second.
I have a motion by Mr. Bowman with a second by Mrs. Beer to approve the consent agenda. Is there any further discussion? Please call the vote.
Bowman,
Yes.
Beer,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Dowling,
Yes.
Winters.
Yes.
Moving to item 6, reports from staff. Item A is the Economic Development Committee meeting held August 17th, 2021 and September 16th, 2021. Mr. Martin, you have a report to share with us?
Okay. The majority of the discussion in both of them was about the facade grant program. The most recent one, we had Haley Reagan and Jody Bradford from the chamber come talk to us, discuss the best way to market this and get it out there to our citizens so that they can take advantage of it. That was the majority of that discussion. I'll answer any questions if anybody has any.
Does council have any questions? Thank you. Item B is the Alva Tourism Tax Commission meeting held August 18th, 2021 and September 15th, 2021. Mr. Martin?
Okay, the most recent, I'll talk about it. The Chamber of Commerce was there to request $9,000 for their office operations. That's an annual request. It was approved unanimously. Northwestern Rodeo requested $15,000 for their annual event. That was approved unanimously. It's about a 15-minute meeting, so pretty fast. Answer any questions.
Does council have any questions? All right, thank you. Item C is the Sanitation Committee meeting held on August 19th, 2021. Troy or Greg, Brandon's not here, or that'd be Randy, isn't here. Are one of you able to share a report for us?
Yeah, I've got it. I have a summation of it. First on the list, I think, was delaying the polycar purchases in favor of getting a new trash truck chassis. Apparently at this time, there's only 2 trash trucks operating in the city. There's some issues with one that's been at Southwest truck parts, and getting it fixed. I don't know if they'll get it fixed or not. Second on the list, where there's issues with people throwing their trash on the ground and animals getting into it and making a mess. Also, there's an issue with dumpsters on Mondays being overfilled way beyond capacity. And the furniture store, they've got a really large buildup of stuff at certain times of the week or month. I guess we recommended that the city employee that deals with the commercial accounts talk to the people with the dumpsters and whatnot and see if they can resolve the issue. Also, we went over the roll-offs. Apparently at this time, or for a while, the city hasn't been able to provide the roll-off service. There's a number of private roll-off services in in the city of Alva and some others locally. We discussed getting out of the roll-off business. And then we went over a list of the permanent roll-off locations. Atwood's, Walmart, and Plain Plastics have permanent roll-offs set at their locations. And then we also discussed the need to enforce the 4-foot sectioning of tree limbs. When people are hauling their tree limbs out to the yard, there's just not the personnel to haul off tree limbs at this time. And I guess there's just, the large brush piles that are being put out just beyond their capabilities of hauling off. And we also discussed briefly about the city getting out of hauling tree limbs, as there's also private businesses in town that do that. And just the next meeting is September the 23rd. Any questions or anything you can fill in?
Does council have any questions? All right, thank you, Troy. Next item is the Alva Planning Commission meeting held August 23rd, 2021. The primary focus of that meeting, there were two items, I think. One was a request for a zoning change from RG8 to RG6 because of the size of the property. Their RG8 requires 8,000 square feet in order to build upon it. The size of this property does not, it will never be 8,000 feet. So the request was made to have that rezoned to RG6. That was deemed consistent with what the strategy had been for rezoning the community that's been talked about with the property use task force. And so it wasn't unanimously, but that was approved by the Planning Commission.
It should have been on this agenda.
Okay, and it's not on this agenda, but we'll get it on a future agenda. The other thing that was discussed was a moratorium on zoning change requests until the Planning Commission brought forth a recommendation to the City Council for a broad, overreaching zoning plan for the community. So, and that was those were the highlights. Anybody have any questions?
What happened to the two requests that we had to deny last time, as far as the change?
They were notified and were allowed that they could make another request at no additional. The city would waive the cost of those additional requests if they wanted to.
Okay, so we're just waiting on them to make the request.
Do we have plans for the land use task force to be put back into soon if we're going to put a moratorium on changes?
No, there's a recommendation that we've taken to the Planning Commission at their next meeting to address the highway corridors first, so 281 and 64, and then that would take care of a lot of the issues, but then as far as the pockets within town, that's going to be a little bit later, maybe a month later. I don't think it's going to be drug out.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, thank you. Next item is the Parks and Buildings Committee meeting on September 2nd, 2021.
You skipped.
Was that you?
And then you skipped.
Did I skip one?
Yeah. E.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, we'll go backwards. Next item is the Finance Committee meeting held August 23rd, 2021, August 25th, 2021, and September 20th, 2021.
I don't believe I was at either of the August meetings. I know for sure I wasn't at the August 25th meeting, but I'm not certain about the other one. So I'm not prepared to talk on those. If you can.
So those special meetings we had when our auditors were on site.
Oh, I was at one of those.
Yeah.
So we had our auditors, Angel Johnson, Blazingame, on site. They were just kind of doing a pre-discussion on where we were at and where we were going forward on that. Just kind of asking for some input on concerns that we may have had or things like that as they went through their on-site evaluation. So, and I believe we are waiting on the final report from them. I think there's a meeting you said on Wednesday, correct, Angelica?
That's not related to
That's not
that
related
audit
to this.
report.
Okay.
We are anticipating that audit report being at the October meeting, the last time we spoke with
Okay,
Angel Johnson and Blazing Gang.
so we should have that then next month. That'll go over that.
I haven't heard any different.
Okay. This evening, we just went through our regular claims. We have a cash balance of $1,485,312.42. An investment balance of $1,613,433.57, which is continuing a pretty substantial increase over where we were a little over a year ago. As of right now, the first payment has been made into the checking account for the airport, totaling $371,082. And then the savings account balance that we're using to hold those funds when we take the 5% off the top of our sales tax each month is sitting at $130,274.38 currently, which basically brings us to a total of $501,356.38 towards that owed balance. Our utility billing had increased over this time last year by $30,240. Billing out $370,460, and our sales tax came in at a total sales and use tax came in at a total of $382,834, which is actually down from last month by 12.5%, but up from August 2020 by 6.9%. There was also some additional discussion in regards to some of the for the pool. In regards to hiring a historic preservation consultant, which I believe there's going to be further discussion on that a little later. Okay. And then I guess the ARPA funding is becoming available. We haven't received that yet, but that's coming. And I guess at OML, you guys were directed to hold on to it. OML advised to hold on to it because there's going to be some additional grant opportunities coming down the line. I believe that covers just about everything.
Does the council have any questions? All right, thank you, Daniel. Now the next item is the Street and Alley Committee meeting held on August 24th, 2021. We met out at the rec park that day. The auditors were here, and we discussed the College Street project, getting it started and seeing if we could get it done by the car show. I'm real pleased that it was finished. It still needs a little bit of work, but it was certainly passable and in better shape than it was a year ago or a month ago. So now Greg and I have to fix stakes for the street crew because they got it done. So we were happy about that. But that was the majority of the meeting, was discussing what projects we could get accomplished. The next project, major project, is going to be 4th Street out here. Plan for that to be a concrete project. And then we discussed the potential for doing some chip and seal projects when the weather was more appropriate for that and we couldn't lay asphalt. Happy to answer any questions. Next item is the Parks and Building Committee meeting on September 2nd, 2021. Are you the only one here from them? Sadie was, okay. Are you prepared to report? You want to make Angelica?
I can report. There was 3 of us here at that time, and we kind of just toured the facilities and made note of what we needed to do. I mean, what needed to be repaired, what we could probably get done quickly, what was most need first, so we could be, get it done first. What else did we?
So we also met with the Mural Society about the agenda item that we have a little bit later on as well. But to Sadie's note, I know that Brandon would like to see us touring our facilities a little bit more frequently to make sure that we kind of take a proactive approach to maintenance at our buildings. We haven't, in years past, done a great job of that, and we've just had to address issues as they come up as opposed to taking care of our properties and making sure that we have a little bit more longevity out of them. And so that was when we toured. We started with City Hall and toured this facility from the north end to the south end, and looked at what things we needed to.
And when we did tour the facility, I did make note of some of the major cracks that we saw, or some of the windows. There's some bad insulation in some of the buildings, so I did make a list of things. So at the next meeting, we can kind of go through and prioritize those.
Does the council have any questions? All right, thank you. Next item is the Pool Finance Committee meetings held on August 19th, August 26th, September 2nd, September 9th, and September 16th. Blake, would you like to give us an update?
They asked that you give the report.
Oh.
We talk.
Okay.
I apologize, Blake.
She just told me.
No, you're good. I was planning on Brandon giving the report as he's a part of the committee. But largely, like for the agenda item tonight, it's about the RFP, which we'll talk about later. Daniel mentioned the historical preservation, and we've been pursuing that for both the bathhouse and the pavilion. Mostly our meetings have been consisting of what are we going to fund, and what's it going to cost, and what is the design going to be. Some of that has been out of our scope as the committee because we're more on the funding side, but we kind of need to know what the costs are before we can go out and fund them. So that's a big part of what the RFP is going to be.
I will say that the committee has been very dedicated to the project. They've had more meetings in the last 2 months than what we've had as a council. So I've appreciated what they've been doing. We do, I think, have the right people in the room for making decisions and helping us with this project. And Blake, Paul, Kay, really appreciate you as well as the other members that have been a part of that. So we'd like Blake said, we do have an agenda item here in a little bit regarding the RFP, so, but I'd let you ask any questions if council has any.
Where did the 4.5 million come from?
4.5 million, Paul might be able to speak better to this, but it was from the Lamp Ryerson assessment of what it would take to repair the existing pool, put in a splash pad, and repair the bathhouse.
It was also based on, crossed with the Carruthers proposal, with an increase because of this current conditions, everything's gone up. So it was based on that as well. So it's a shot in the dark. It's basically, if we raise that much money, what can we get for it? That's what we're trying to ascertain.
Those estimates were the only numbers we had to work with in the previous task forces. And so that, like Paul said, is our best guess, but if we come under that 4.5, we'll be pretty happy with that too.
Does council have any other questions?
Has there been any discussion on an idea of what our Hatfield Park, what's it called, Hatfield?
Hatfield Aquatic Center?
Yes. Any ideas or drawings of?
Like I was saying,
I've been asked that. It's the only reason I'm
Sure.
asking that.
It's
what
a
are the
little
ideas?
out of the scope of our committee. That's one thing we're hoping to get from the RFPs is designs and the cost, and that's where most of that will come from. So that's just a we don't know yet answer.
Will they give us the yearly maintenance cost on that also when they?
That'll depend on the firms that submit their proposals, but we'll have to figure that out. Yeah, that'd be good to add.
Does council have any other questions? All right, well, we'll talk about the RFP here in a little bit. Thank you, Blake. Next item is the Alva Arena Authority meeting held September 7th, 2021.
That meeting was canceled, I was informed today.
That meeting was canceled. All right. Item J is the Alva Public Library meeting held on September 13th, 2021. Mr. Dowling.
I guess, first of all, I was actually unable to attend that meeting due to a funeral that I had on that same time. But luckily, Director Ott gives wonderful board notes, so I can kind of give you guys a brief overview, but not necessarily answer any detailed questions. But it looks like in August, they had 1,650 items were checked out. The library has opened up as part of its pandemic plan to open up some of the small meeting rooms, and they have reservations up to this month and a little lax, so it looks like they're getting good use there. It also looks like they're going to apply for an ARPA target grant, which they will submit and will be notified back in October. And it looks like the primary thing was they went over a packet containing the library policies, and they reviewed some of those. It looks like there were some questions, and then we will wait till October for the final approving of those at the next month meeting. Yeah, and it looks like the Little Explorer bags, the interest in that has increased by about 30%, and they will reevaluate the numbers again at the end of the month. So it looks like that program has done well too again.
Does the council have any questions? Mr. Taylor. The next item is the Alva Regional Airport Commission meeting on September 13th, 2021. Pretty routine meeting. We heard our standard reports and approved minutes and that sort of thing. We did yeah, that was it, really. I will point out that we have been listed on a, I can't remember what the acronym stands for, but it's CAA, and it's for commercial aviation. And we are one of, not very many airports around the state that have gotten designation on this list. And we are, since being listed, Derek was telling us that we have had at least a couple pilots and their aircrafts come through our field specifically because they saw us on the list. And so that was a good deal. We've had some, don't get me talking about any specifics of the aircraft, but we have had some, we did have a prototype aircraft land on our field within the last month. That was pretty cool to have. It's not yet in production, so it was kind of neat to see that. And some other, interesting traffic that good for pictures on Facebook for sure. I will say, having been at the Municipal League Conference, we've I know Greg and I both heard compliments on our airport while we were there, and so I shared that with the board as well. I'm happy to try to answer any questions. All right. Next item is the Personnel Committee meeting. We did not have that. That'll be tomorrow. Is that right?
We had
We
that.
did have that? Then I wasn't there. I was there? And this concludes the mayor's report. Oh, I was there. I remember even now. Okay. Daniel, would you care to share the report?
Sure. So we continued our discussion as we're going through and reviewing our department pay schedules. We're still looking at EMS. We're waiting on some additional information that we just haven't been able to collect yet, just to verify that we do have some overarching state information that puts us in line with the state numbers. We want to check regional numbers as well before kind of putting our stamp on that and moving on to the next department, because that's kind of been our plan, is that we would go department by department, reviewing the pay structure in that department and make sure that it matched where it should be. And then we also went on to discuss, we're reviewing our council handbook. We actually can get some grant funding from, is that OMAG that does that? We can get some grant funding from OMAG if we have a yearly approved council handbook as well as some council training that's done. So we're in the process of going through our council handbook. We missed that the last couple of years. When we originally made that, it was kind of a put it together for the grant. Well, so now we're wanting to go back through it, comb through it, and put together a handbook that actually is can provide substantial benefit to council members when they first sit down on the council or even ongoing through that. So we're working through that process now as well.
Does the council have any questions? All right, thank you. Next item is the mayor's report. I wanted to mention my appreciation to the council members, Connor, Taylor, Sadie, Greg, Randy were able to attend the municipal league conferences, or the conference. I'm always glad when we've got that many people there because there are so many education sessions that we can divide and conquer and get as much information as possible. And I felt like we did that pretty well. I'm looking forward to when we start discussing these items that we learned at the conference in our committees. So thank you guys for all making that a priority and attending. I wanted to point out for those of you that are just came on this year, normally our reports from staff, these items I can't remember if they ever made it to this far in the alphabet that we're dealing with item N for the city business manager's report. So I wanted to just thank all of you for your efforts to make sure that we are conducting that business for the city, which is very important. I have not been to all the meetings. I've been to some that I didn't even think I was, apparently. But it's been a very active month and year since you guys took office, and I think all that work is great, and it's going to start paying off in some good things for our community. So that's all I have to report. I'm happy to try to answer any questions. Thank you. Next item is the city manager's report.
A lot of what we've already discussed is what I had outlined for my report. Our auditors were on site. We anticipate having our 2019-20 audit report at the next meeting. And I have been in contact with our accountants to begin the next process, so we're not so far delayed. They should be on site the second week in November, November 8th, to begin the process for this year's audit. We do, a portion of our audit is the hospital audit as well, so we're always, generally working together with them to get that complete. I anticipate we should have our next year's audit in the spring as opposed to this late in the fall of this year. So starting to move in that direction. We attended OML. We had, I think, more council members than we've ever had attend before, a very large group for us. And Mayor Parker and I were able to apply for our ARPA funding. So we anticipate, we were having a conversation prior to the meeting, I think we still have a few pieces of documentation that we need to submit for that funding, but we anticipate having that in the next 10 to 14 days. Recommendations that we had at OML and that we've heard is for us to hold on to that money until there's potentially some additional grant money that will be coming out later in this year. And that being said, we definitely want to make sure that we choose the right project to spend our monies on. A lot of restrictions, generally speaking, infrastructure, water, wastewater infrastructure, and broadband infrastructure are the main areas that would really be applicable for us as a city. And so we want to make sure that we are, doing the best with that money that we can. I think if you come into City Hall in the next couple of months, we'll have some new faces in there. We've hired a city inspector who will start later on in the month of October. We have adjusted some positions in the office, made some promotions, and hired some new people. So we will be fully staffed in City Hall for the first time in a little bit. I'm very excited about that. We we've got a great team in there, and hoping we will add some more great team members and we'll be able to do a lot more things. I'm personally extremely excited about that. We do still have some open positions within the city of Alva. We're always looking for EMS personnel. We do have openings on the water department, the street department, the sanitation department. And I know at the rec center, they're looking for part-time help out there. So, a college student who's looking for a part-time job. And they're always looking for referees for our sports. I know that we've had a real difficult time finding enough referees for everything lately. So if you know someone who's qualified to ref a soccer game or anything there, I know that there's a very large need. So feel free to swing by City Hall and grab an application. We'd love to visit with you about a job. That's all I have for you.
Does council have any questions? Thank you, Angelica. Item 7 is remarks and inquiries by citizens. If any of you would like to make a comment to the council, we would invite you to approach the podium, state your name, and we'll give you 2 minutes to say what you have to say. Thank you. Item 8 is discussion and action to approve resolution 2021-012, a fiscal year 2020-2021 budget amendment of $11,065 for the Tourism and Convention Fund. It's my understanding that these dollars were available in the reserve funds for that committee. They exceeded the amount that they had budgeted in 2020, and so they are here before us at this time. The funds available can't be spent on anything but tourism items, so it's not $11,000 that could have been used elsewhere. They would have to have been used on tourism, and this is a formality to make sure that our budget accurately reflects the expenditure. Angelica, do you have anything to add?
The general fund.
Oh, I apologize. Taylor had, on the resolution itself, it was referenced to come out of the general fund, which is, it's actually Fund 15 is the correct fund number, but it is the hotel motel tax fund, not the general fund. It was just mislabeled. So
That was what I was going to ask.
yes, thank you, Taylor. I apologize for not remembering to bring that up.
So that's a technical error that can be corrected with approval.
That's just a discussion, explanation, so that doesn't require action.
I would entertain a motion.
I'd make a motion to approve resolution 2021-012.
My second.
I have a motion by Mr. Winters, second by Mrs. Beard to approve resolution 2021-012, a 2020-2021 budget amendment of $11,065 for the Tourism and Convention Fund. Is there any further discussion? Please call the vote.
Winters,
Yes.
Beer,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Brooks,
No.
Dowling,
No.
Martin.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 9 is discussion and action to approve a contract with the Alva Mural Society to allow for a mural to be painted on the south wall of City Hall. I'll let someone from the Parks and Buildings or Angelica speak to that.
Erin is here, also from the Mural Society.
All right.
Hello, my name is Erin Davis, and I'm representative of the Alva Mural Society. We have sent over the mural agreement with the building owner as the Alva City Hall. We have, Angelica has sent it over, and hopefully you guys have had a chance to look over it. We also have made edits according to what the city attorney has asked, and so we are just ready to get that signed. We already have the contract signed with our with the artist, Jake Beeson. That mural has already been approved by the Parks Committee that's already approved that, as well as the Alva Mural Society. So if you have any questions, I'm free to answer any of those.
Erin, would you talk about the Mural Fest that's occurring this I didn't
Yeah.
put that in our
Oh.
reports. I was hoping you would.
Oh, okay.
What's going
Sorry
on.
about
That's
that.
okay.
Yes, so the Alva Mural Society is doing a Northwest Mural Fest. It's the first time that we're doing this, and we hope that it will become an annual event. We're bringing 3 murals into town this weekend, and we're having 3 different artists. All of them are Oklahoma native, and we are having a Meet the Artist event Friday evening at the Graceful Arts Studio and Gallery. You can go downtown from 6 to 8 p.m. and meet the artists. They'll also have smaller works of art that you are available to view or purchase. And then on Saturday at 8 o'clock in the morning, we will have our 5K and fun run. And we have a committee that's been working on that. We'll get to run and see a lot of the different murals. And we'll also have updated brochures at all of our murals. Currently, we have 33 mural projects in Alva. But with these 3 new murals, we will then have 35. 33, 34, 35. Okay, there we go. So anyways, after the 5K and the fun run, then we'll have, in conjunction with the Northwestern Family Day, we have adjusted our schedule so that the families can come and enjoy the downtown festivities. So we will also have live music, bands, as well as food trucks in the courtyard area, and you can enjoy those. And you can also see the mural artists painting in real time throughout this whole weekend. And then the signing of the murals will be Sunday. And the times are on, it's like 1 o'clock, 1:20, 1:40, and I don't have the flyer in front of me, but they're listed on our flyer, and that will be the times that the artists sign those murals, and you can go and see that as well.
I was just going to ask, just to make sure, or to add clarification, does the municipality have the right to, if we wanted to take pictures of the mural on our building for advertisement purposes, do we have that right without seeking?
Yes.
I have a question about the lighting. I don't really have any issues with the mural or anything, but the city is gonna pay to install lighting?
No. We're not required to, what I had noted down here, but the Parks and Building Committee, they felt like it would be important for us to take that step to have the mural lighted. There's already electricity on that area of the building already. It would just be simple as putting in a light there. If it was going to be a huge expense, we wouldn't potentially need to do that, but the Parks and Building Committee would like to see us have that painting be lit.
I mean, how much is it gonna cost, and what's the yearly cost to light it?
We don't have those numbers. We could bring that back before we could bring that to council before we did it, but it's not being required by the Mural Society for us to do that. That's just something the Parks and Building was wanting to have done.
There is a dim light out there, so basically you just upgrade that light. When we went and looked at it, it needs to be something more up to date. It has that like yellow cover over it, so probably even changing the cover out would make it just brighter.
So the light's already there?
Yes, there's a
Okay.
light there.
All right.
Any other questions?
Where can we get a flyer with the information?
The flyers are posted all around downtown.
Okay.
I can, hold on just a second.
Social media pages.
Yeah, it's all over social media. If you go to the Alva Chamber of Commerce on their social media, as well as the Alva Mural Society has a Facebook and an Instagram as well, and the flyer is there as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Aaron. I would entertain a motion.
I would make a motion to approve the contract with the Alvin Mural Society to allow for a mural to be painted on the south wall of City Hall.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Winters, a second by Mr. Dowling to approve a contract with the Alva Mural Society to allow for a mural to be painted on the south wall of City Hall. Is there any further discussion? Please call the vote.
Winters,
Yes.
Dowling,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Beer,
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Item 10 is discussion and action to authorize the city business manager to send out a request for proposals for a master plan for an aquatics facility at Hatfield Park. Welcome back, Blake.
Thank you. Again, this is just, we need to send out RFP so that we can start the whole grant writing process, so that we can go out to citizens and say, or we can go out to citizens so that they can know what they're contributing to, and what the possibilities are. The main thing is it costs the city nothing to go out for RFPs, and it's not a promise for money.
Does the council have any questions? I entertain a motion.
Make a motion to authorize the city business manager to send out a request for proposal for master plan for an aquatic facility at Hatfield Park.
I'd second.
I have a motion by Mr. Winters, a second by Mr. Dowling, to authorize the city business manager to send out a request for proposals for master plan for an aquatics facility at Hatfield Park. Is there any further discussion? Please call the vote.
Winters,
Yes.
Dowling,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Beer.
Yes.
Thank you, Blake. Item 11 is discussion and action to approve the renewal of the City of Alva Property Protection Plan in the amount of $57,433. Angelica.
The next two items are routine items that we have. They're both items that are above my spending limit. OMAG generally always works with us. We have very little increase in costs annually. I think this is the first year I've actually seen an increase. Generally speaking, we've always had a small decrease generally. We did receive a refund back today from OMAG for about $3,000. I want to say it was on our 16-17 year. I'm not sure. I would defer to a insurance person. Maybe Troy could help understand that. If we don't maximize our insurance plan, they give us a refund money. The money's not spent back to us if we don't utilize all those funds that they set aside. And so we received one back. I want to say it was for our liability protection plan, which is the next item. So OMAG does a great job for us in keeping our costs low. They work with other municipalities. And when we do have an issue, our deductibles are also very low and manageable. So I would be happy to answer any other questions there.
Council have any questions? I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the renewal of the City of Alva Property Protection Plan in the amount of $57,433.
Second.
Is there any further? Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Winters, a second by Mrs. Beer to approve the renewal of the City of Alva Property Protection Plan in the amount of $57,433. Is there any further discussion? Please call the vote.
Winters,
Yes.
Beer,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Dowling,
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Item 12 is discussion and action to approve the renewal of the City of Alva Liability Protection Plan in an amount not to exceed $52,298.
Same. These are our vehicles and our equipment.
I entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the renewal of the City of Alva Liability Protection Plan in an amount not to exceed $52,298.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mr. Winters and a second by Mr. Brooks to approve the renewal of the City of Alva Liability Protection Plan in an amount not to exceed $52,298. Is there any further discussion? Please call the vote.
Winters,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Beer,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Dowling,
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Item 12 is discussion and action to approve the agreement between the City of Alva and the Board of County Commissioners to provide E911 dispatching services for the City of Alva.
This is an annual agreement that we do with the county as well. Once again, that's above my spending limit. They take all of the people that utilize the service and they divide that cost amongst all of the county, most of the county, and the cost is distributed based on the usage by each department. So we just need to approve this.
Is that the same as it has been?
It is the same as it was last year. They added, I can't remember which community was added at the end of last year, and we actually received, we had a contract that we had approved for more than $30,000, and when that other community was added, it reduced reduce this down to the $30,000 and it stayed the same.
Just out of curiosity, do we know how many communities they serve?
I know I have been told, Taylor, I
Okay.
don't know how many that it is, and I can find that out and get that to you.
It's more than just Woods County.
Yes.
Well, I see. Hopefully not out of the state.
No,
Okay.
not to my knowledge, but I will find that out and get that back to you
Okay.
specifically.
I would say from numbers I've seen that this is a very reasonable price,
Well, we couldn't man that ourselves for that number.
not even close.
No. It's something they talk about in computer programming class, that there are certain times when you have too many people using a specific, and it's caused programs to fail as calls come in, so it sounds like we're well underneath. People who service multi-state areas.
I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the agreement between the City of Alva and the Board of County Commissioners to provide E911 dispatching service for the City of Alva.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Bowman and a second by Mr. Brooks to approve the agreement between the City of Alva and the Board of County Commissioners to provide E911 dispatching services for the City of Alva. Is there any further discussion? Does it technically, do we need to say Woods County Commissioners?
Board of County Commissioners, that's going to put that in their minutes.
All right. Any further discussion? Please call the vote.
Bowman,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Beer,
Yes.
Winters,
Yes.
Dowling,
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Next item is discussion and action to approve the August 2021 OG&E bill in an amount not to exceed $31,361.01. This is, we've approved one like this, one or two like this in the past couple months as a result of the LED streetlight conversion. It is, I'm assuming it's the same as the one
It
we
is,
approved.
yes, it
They
is.
held off billing us until they had this
Yes.
portion complete.
Yes, so this should be the final bill of this nature that we should receive.
And so it is over Angelica's spending limit, however, it is budgeted. So I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the August 2021 OG&E bill in an amount not to exceed $31,361.01.
I second.
Have a motion by Mr. Winters and a second by Mrs. Beer to approve the August 2021 OG&E bill in an amount not to exceed $31,361.01. Is there any further discussion?
So why are we changing over to all these LEDs? Is it just the cost savings in the long run, or?
My knowledge, OG&E made that decision. We
Oh,
were not consulted. It wasn't our decision to convert to LED. It was OG&E's decision to convert to LED.
But we're having to pay for it.
No, we're not paying for the conversion. So what happened in the previous ones that we had approved, when they were going through the LED conversion, they did not bill us for one billing cycle. And so we're being billed for 2 billing cycles in this bill, which puts it over the $25,000 limit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Please call the vote.
Winters,
Yes.
Beer,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Dowling,
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Item 15 is discussion and action on the mayor's appointment of Dr. Beau Hanford to the Alva Hospital Authority for an unexpired term ending October 2025. Kim Beau has resigned her position on the hospital authority. Beau Hanford has served on that board in the past. He is as qualified of an individual as I know in our community to serve on any board or commission, and he will do a good job of making sure that we have continuity as well as another set of eyes critically looking at things that need to be going on with the hospital authority.
I guess in Kim's resignation letter, did she,
Kim did not offer a resignation letter.
oh, okay, in her resignation, did she express a reason?
You can talk to Kim. She didn't offer a resignation letter.
Okay.
I spoke with her, and she was just concerned about, I mean, you can talk to her, it had to do with some, the providers resigning.
I guess,
My concern is Kim has quite a bit of healthcare industry experience.
I would have preferred Kim to stay on.
Yeah, I'd like to see her, I would think we should find her kind of like prudent, find a like-kind board member, especially with the billing experience she has and Medicare billing experience that she has.
I don't disagree with you. I don't think that person's inside the city limits of Alva, Oklahoma. Kim was pretty unique with her background in health and healthcare finance. I don't know anybody else in our community with the same qualifications as Kim Baugh. And I would have liked for Kim to have stayed in that position. Beau has an extensive history with municipal finance, as being part of the city's finance committee. He has also, risen to the top of his industry and what he does. And so, I feel like Beau is highly qualified. I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion, we approve the mayor's appointment of Dr. Beau Hanford to the Alva Hospital Authority for an unexpired term ending in October 2025.
I second.
I have a motion by Mr. Bowman and a second by Mrs. Beer to approve the appointment of Beau Hanford to the Alva Hospital Authority for an unexpired term ending October 2025. Is there any further discussion? Please call the vote.
Bowman,
Yes.
Beer,
Yes.
Dowling,
no.
Brooks,
No.
Martin,
Yes.
Winters.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 16 is new business. We don't have anything that fits the criteria for new business, so we will go to item 17, remarks and inquiries by council members.
I do. We had an absolutely great time this weekend with this car show. And as a community, we need to keep that thing going because it was really cool. My wife had a blast. The kids we took around had a blast. The city and the car show folks did an outstanding job.
They sure did.
I don't think we discussed public safety we had between this meeting and the last, did we?
No,
Did I miss it?
we
I don't
may,
think it was on there.
it wasn't on the agenda, no, we may have just missed it in.
Okay, but I just wanted to make sure
We
I wasn't
added it
thinking
to
it was
the
a week, a month before that.
No,
Okay.
you're correct, we did have one.
Add that to the next meeting.
And then I guess,
Yeah, we
from
can.
my understanding, there was an NHA meeting in this previous month, wasn't it?
That's correct.
Okay, that one was also left out, that's why I said, okay.
Didn't have a quorum.
Oh, gotcha.
Any other remarks, council members?
I guess I was very impressed by the number of times that the pool task force committee was meeting since our last meeting. They seem to really be getting at it. I think that's important for the community.
They're working hard. They really are. All right, we will adjourn the city council meeting and open the regular Alva Utility Authority meeting. Shelley, when you're ready, please call the roll.
Winters,
Here.
Dowling,
Here.
Sherman, Martin,
Here.
Bowman,
Here.
Stelling, Beer,
Here.
Brooks.
Here.
All right, first item on the agenda, actually the third item, is discussion and action on the consent agenda. All of the following items which concern reports and items of a routine nature, normally approved at AUA meetings will be approved by one vote of the authority. Any trustee desiring to discuss an item on the consent agenda may request that it be removed from the consent agenda and placed for discussion as the next item on the regular agenda. It will then be considered separately. The consent agenda consists of the consideration and action on the following items. Item A, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting held August 16th, 2021. And item B, approval of claims in the amount of $144,935.31 and payroll expenses of $47,816.42. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Have a motion by Mr. Winters, a second by Mrs. Beer to approve the consent agenda. Is there any further discussion? Please call the vote.
Winters,
Yes.
Beer,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Dowling.
Yes.
All right, we'll adjourn the Utility Authority meeting and open the Economic Development Authority meeting. When you're ready, Shelley, please call the roll.
Bowman,
Here.
Stelling, Beer,
Here.
Brooks,
Here.
Dowling,
Here.
Sherman, Martin,
Here.
Winters.
Here.
Item 3 is discussion and action on the consent agenda. All of the following items which concern reports and items of a routine nature normally approved at AEDA meetings will be approved by one vote of the authority. Any trustee desiring to discuss an item on the consent agenda may request that it be removed from the consent agenda and placed for discussion as the next item on the regular agenda. It will then be considered separately. The consent agenda consists of consideration and action on the following items. Item A, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting held August 16th, 2021, and approval of claims in the amount of $26,072.38 and payroll expenses of $12,405.59. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Have a motion by Mr. Winters and a second by Mrs. Beer to approve the consent agenda. Is there any further discussion? Please call the vote.
Winters,
Yes.
Beer,
Yes.
Dowling,
Yes.